Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US indices for the 14th of September. So we'll look at the SP, we'll look at the Nasdaq, and we'll look at some of the FANG stocks as well. So what I wanted to do today was to look at the different ways that we can possibly count this to the upside here. And then we need to focus in on this particular pattern that's occurring here now for this. So there are some stocks around the world where we can count 5 waves to the top here, and there's stocks around the world in the US where this is a top of a wave 3 here, and we're looking at a wave 4 here, and then we're looking for further upside. So there's different batches of stocks doing different things, but let's go in and take a look at some of those different patterns. So this particular pattern here, this fits quite nicely, and in this instance here, just to pick up wave 2 low here up to wave 3 here, that can bring us down to well, closer to the 3200 area through here for this. So that's one way to look at this. Another way to look at this is like this here, where we count this up here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here. But that's pretty much at its limit here in terms of the retracement level for this. So we would need to see this market push up from this point. So we would also need to understand at what point we can start going long from in here as well. I still have to say this correction here is still pretty unclear as such, but anyway, just presenting the bigger picture here, and we'll look at that in a moment. So this still needs wave 3, 4 and 5 here, and then that would give, if I copy this here, whoops, wrong one, the lighter blue one here, this one, and that would give us our top in here at wave 5 in this instance here. Okay, so that's that one, and I think that I've been playing around with a few. Let me just check this here. Let's check on this one. Yeah, it's a bit of a long shot, this one, because the extension in wave 5's a bit rough on this one, so we won't worry about that one too much. Now, this sort of brings us into the smaller correctional pattern here. Now, what I wanted to say is that when we first started this move down through here, we could count 5 waves in this first leg here in the Nasdaq, and I know that in the S&P we could count 5 waves down to here, but it's probably a good idea to bring it in line with the Nasdaq and have the 5 waves coming down at this point here. Now, this can be counted in a variety of ways here. Yeah, but either way, yeah, it is a bit of a difficult one to look at and to count here. There's just so many variations that can occur. So what we'd really need to see, is, I mean, first of all, we know that wave 4s can get rather complicated, and it may just be simple of having another low coming into place here and then pushing up from that point. If it also takes out this high here, we could also look to go long at that point there as well. Now, we know 34 is the old high, so having a nice tested support on that, or a classic trading levels pattern on that, that would also be really helpful as well. But the other point too that we just really need to be aware of is that this, if I just copy this for a moment, let's just say that it doesn't come down any further from here. So we could also look this leg to come down here, and then we would also need, it's also possible for this to pull back up here and then have another move down here as well. So even if we do see a rally, it may just be a sucker rally at that point. At this stage of the move here, there's no real indication that the market's going up. We can look at this move here. We can count this in 5 waves here. But it can also be counted in 3 as well. So it's not a strong case for up for wave 1 and a correction back in this space here. It's possible, and that's why going long above here. If we move into, let's just go into the hourly chart here. This, like I mentioned, this is how we started counting it. With 5 waves, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for an A wave here. I'll have to lift that up 1 degree for this one here. Then an A wave here, an A and a B and a C wave here for wave B here. I mean, this A wave can also just go here as well. That's the problem with this. So I don't really have any really clear answers. But what we also don't have at this stage is we don't have a nice clear break to the upside in this instance. So the trend really is still down. I know we've got really good support at 3,300, and normally we would see a nice bounce off the number 300 or number 3 here, and we have seen that. But we've also seen it pull back down and sit basically on that level there again for this. So that's telling me that it's still in weak mode at this point. But that support at 3,300 is also a nice support at 11,000 for the Nasdaq here as well. So this could be counted in different ways as well. All I have so far is we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So after 5 waves, we should get a correction and then another 5 waves. But how do you count that correction is what I've been trying to figure out. In this case here, this move up here counts better as a corrective wave, as wave A and B here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So we could still be in the correction from wave A here to wave B here. And if we look at some of the FANG stocks, and I'll just take them from their current highs, this is Facebook here, it kind of started its correction a little bit earlier in the piece, so it dropped from this point. So in this case, this is probably one of the better counts, where we can look at this as an A wave, a B wave here, and then 1 and 2 and 3, an A and a B and a C here for wave 4, and then 5 waves down for wave 5. So we could even have a low in here at this point for this. We don't have any evidence of a move up just yet. And this could also just keep continuing to the downside as well. We just don't have a clear sort of break to the upside for these markets just yet. And if we look at Amazon as well, just in its top area here, this is probably a little bit sort of neater. This move down here is really in 3 waves here, so but still we can call it an A wave, and then an A and a B and a C for the B wave, and then coming down. It may not even be finished here as well. It may even just come down. I haven't actually pulled this apart here. I can see part of it, but it looks like it wants to come down further. So yeah, you know, until we start seeing an impulse wave to the upside from here, we just need to be, you know, well, there's still downside to come, basically, but maybe not much, you know. And when we look at, so there's a nice support here, even if Amazon does come down. If we look at Alphabet, Google here, then from the top here, we can look at it as wave 5 or 3 here, by the way. We do have a nice support sitting on the 1500 here. Will it hold? We've got 5 waves down from this point here. I mean, will it just come back to the 61.8% here and then drop again here? So I guess the takeaway for all of this is what I'm trying to say is that the move down here appears to be corrective. So we will make new highs. However, the pattern that's moved down here is not that clear. It's not like it's not an easy count that we can have confidence in. I don't have confidence in it, and I don't want to project that confidence if I don't have any at this particular point. What I can say is that markets are near their 38.2% retracement levels, and a lot of, not all of them, but a lot of them have good support. So they could push up from here, but we need to see that. We need to see, we need to see a little from the lows. We need to see a nice little 5-wave structure like this, and then an ABC pattern here, and then we can go long on these here. Now on this one here, for instance, if the market moved up for Alphabet here and found support on 1550 here, well, then you could go long from that point. And if you start seeing this strength coming into these stocks, well, then you'll see it obviously will reflect in the indices, but it tells us that, we could be going up from these current lows. The other one we can look at in terms of the FANG stocks is the is Apple here as well. So in this case, it's got quite a nice pattern here, I thought. So it's got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the A wave, an A and a B and a C for the B wave, and then 5 waves finishing here. So it can also just excuse me, just push up from the top here. But also, once again, I don't know if this wave 4 is going to get bigger and uglier. That's what I don't know. So, all of this here can be just wave B here and wave A here, and then we come down for wave C again. It could get rather complicated. I just don't know. It may be finished and go straight up and it's the end of it, or we can go up 61.8% or 50 or 60% in these cases, and then see the market struggle from these areas here. So we'll just have to take it step by step, and as it matures, it will become obvious, and then in hindsight, it will become even more obvious. But there's always something to learn in hindsight as such. But yeah, so. Just coming back to the S&P 500 for a moment, this is on 5 ticks here. So I've really been trying to figure out all the structures to it. But I suppose with the S&P 500, we've got a nice support on the 3.3 here. So this 3.3 really wouldn't be resistance unless this group 2 here became the resistance. So it's okay for this to spike down here, come back up and still sit on here. It's only when this group 2 here, 65, 72 and 80 become the resistance. And if that's the case, then we'll see the market down at 3,200, because in the bigger picture I've got a count that's got the 3,200 as the 38.2% retracement level for a wave 4. In the meantime, we've had support over here. Will this support hold? Will we see a move to the upside here in this case? So even in this last little move that we've got through here, one way to look at this is to simply take the 50-60% retracement level, which will be here. So we could say that if the market finds support on 3.8, even better still, the 34, then we can start to go long here. So if we look at say the 34 here and look for a setup on that particular level there, so if this is the 3,400 here, we would have the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, and then eventually support over here. This is probably a bit animated and a bit too large, so you'd have to see it in a much smaller situation. But looking at it like this would be the setup on the 3,400. And you could also look to it like this as well. In both cases, you have to wait for the reference point high here, and then look at taking these on the 3,400. At least that would give us a start to the upside. So, just to recap this a little bit, here we don't need these FANG stocks, but I also thought too, because I am doing quite a lot of stocks at the moment, I might make up a video that we do twice a week, or cover these I want to cover these FANG stocks a little bit more. So I'll make up probably a video just called FANG stocks, and that way or either that or I'll incorporate them more into the indices here. Feedback on that would be good. And yeah, that way we'll keep an eye on some of these bigger stocks on a more of a regular basis for this. So for the Nasdaq here, we do have some short positions in. We'll put a stop here, and really you could probably squeeze a small position on the 11,300 because it's the top of group 1 of 11,000. So for the market to go higher up here, it would need support on top of the 300, and then you can also look to add to the market once you get a classic trading levels pattern on the 11,500, which is a medium level. So I've talked about this number before, and if you're not familiar with it, it's just really halfway between two major levels, the 13,000 and the 10,000. And it's an unusual number, but you can see the importance of it. And the importance of it for us be on the long side, because we believe that this is a correction that's pulling back here, then being long on the 11,500 here would be pretty close to getting support on the 3,400 for the SP 500 as well. So watching some of the FANG stocks and the NASI, even if you don't trade the NASI and you only trade the S&P, but to see this market gain support on the 11,300 would raise the first flag, and then the second one on here. Now, how far it gets us, I don't know, but this would be the stopping space just in here, the 50-60 at 11,800. So we'll see profit taking at, well, we always see profit taking at 800. So yeah, but if you don't overtrade, you might be able to just chill out through this a little bit until it matures and we can figure out which direction it's going, and then also look to add on top of the 12,000 here as well. Now, I've got this low pointed here, but don't worry about that at all, because what can easily happen here is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 coming down here and finishing off like that there as well. And then this B wave would be in place here, and then we would need a C wave. Copy this here over to here for this. So yeah, I just don't have any confidence, and I don't want to project that into this particular pattern that we're looking at. But when I don't understand patterns, then I just go to the basic support and resistance and look for setups at this stage. So I'm just going to remove this here. I don't think that's the case. I'll put that over there. And I'll put this over here. Yeah, so yeah, look, this is just my best guess, but the point is I don't know. If I know, I like to say that I know, and if I don't, I don't. So I don't know, but what we do need to see is this market gain support on this critical 11,500. So look, I'll just leave it at that. But thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Cheers.